Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voice Behind CCUB, a special LinkedIn Live interview series powered by Logistics Insider, the official media event partner of Cold Chain Unbroken 2025. As many of you know, Cold Chain Unbroken now is in its eighth edition, has grown into India's foremost platform for advancing innovation in temperature controlled logistics. Taking place on 18th and 19th of September at Novotel Hyderabad Airport, CCUB 2025 will bring together over 400 global delegates from 25 plus nations, creating a powerful convergence of CXOs, regulators, innovators, and policymakers. This year, the conversation will dive deep into how cold chain solutions are transforming industries like pharmaceuticals, perishables, biotechnology, and agritech, driving both patient safety and supply chain excellence. So, through this interview series, Voice Behind CCUB, our aim is to spotlight the change makers, the thought leaders, and the organizations that are backing the future of cold chain logistics, but at the same time making CCUB the transformative forum that it is today. For those who okay. So to kick things off, we are starting with none other than Cold Chain Technologies, which is also a platinum sponsor for CCUB 2025. And joining us is Mr. Amardeep Chahal, a key To kick things off, we are starting with none other than Cold Chain Technologies, our platinum sponsors for CCUB 2025. And joining me today is Mr. Amardeep Chahal, a key member of the executive leadership team at Cold Chain Technologies. Mr. Chahal leads the company's global marketing strategy and corporate development functions, driving CCT's positioning as a high growth global packaging technology solution providers. For those who may not know, CCT is a world leader in developing and manufacturing single use, sustainable, and reusable passive packaging solutions, ensuring the safe and reliable shipment of temperature sensitive drugs and vaccines across the globe. Their innovations play a crucial role in safeguarding the global life sciences industry, particularly in delivering critical medicines and vaccines where they're needed the most. Welcome, Mr. Sahil, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir. And I think with that introduction, we can dive right into our conversation today.
Sure.
So let's start with the first question. We're seeing that cold chain market is growing rapidly. And if I am to, give some facts and figures, US dollar 13.8 billion is what the size of the cold chain market was in 2025 or is expected to be in 2025. And in 2035, it is going to grow to 23.6 billion US dollars. So, what, according to you, are the key drivers that are actually steering this expansion, and especially if we can relate it to pharma and life sciences?
Absolutely, Kala. I will focus primarily on life sciences and pharmaceutical. I'll add further to some of the facts that you've quoted in terms of what's driving the growth in the pharmaceutical industry. Primarily, if you look at the drug products, close to $450 billion of pharmaceutical drugs today require cold chain management. In that category, close to about $50 billion of drugs are wasted annually because of temperature excursions or losses that might happen during transportation. So there's definitely a room of improvement there. Secondly, if you look at what's happening from an innovation standpoint, in the year 2019, 50% of the drugs that got introduced require cold chain management. And that number has now grown to 54% in 2024. So more and more drugs that are coming into the market require cold chain management. If you look at the top 20 drugs that are sold globally, 14 of the top 20 require cold chain. The remaining 6 require some level of controlled room temp. So clearly there seems to be a shift towards more and more drugs requiring cold chain. The question is, why is that so? And the reason for that is primarily more novel drugs that are getting introduced, modalities like cell and gene therapies that are coming into play, GLP-1 drugs that are coming into play, the monoclonal antibodies, vaccines like the COVID vaccine we saw. So the way science is leading, those products are much more sensitive and require cold chain management. And that's why this continued growth that we will see in the cold chain aspects related to pharmaceutical and life sciences.
Yeah. Well, thank you for those great insights, and the figures definitely help. I want to now come to sustainability aspect of it. Everyone today is looking at sustainability. I remember a few years back when I was interviewing someone at CCUB, one of the big pharma shippers. I asked him on CCUB about sustainability, and he was hesitant because it's difficult for organizations to inculcate sustainability in their organization. Thus, now I've seen a shift that they're choosing suppliers and service providers who bring in that sustainability towards their supply chain. And I would like to really applaud CCT for being one of those organizations. My question is around that. I recently read that CCT has introduced the True Temp Naturals curbside recyclable shippers and is also expanding its EcoFlex reusable line. So, if you can tell our audiences a little more about these latest advances and how is it helping in reducing emission or wastage?
Kavi, it's a great point that you brought up. There has definitely been a step change in terms of adoption of sustainable solutions over the last few years. Going back, I would say maybe 3, 4, 5 years, while organizations were looking as partners or suppliers who had some level of commitment to good sustainability, true adoption of sustainable products was still not very high. But we've definitely seen that step change, and which is great to see. Right? Now, you mentioned about the two products, which I'll come to in a minute, but primarily CCT is committed to a greener planet. We made some, we set some bold objectives for ourselves a few years ago. One was related to landfill avoidance. So in the year 22-23, we committed to avoiding 100 million pounds, which equates to about 45 million kilograms of landfill avoidance by the year 2025. And we already exceeded that by the end of 24. Right? We've continued to introduce new solutions like the True Temp Natural that you articulated earlier and the EcoFlex reusable solution, which we believe will help customers from a sustainability standpoint. They provide the same level of thermal performance, but then help them save all the landfill that goes with the traditional legacy solutions that are used in our industry. But important thing is, it's not just the solutions. There is a lot of science that goes behind those as well. You need to ensure that when people talk about sustainability and a greener planet, there is a lot of greenwashing that happens. A lot of terms are thrown out. And you've got to sift through all of those terms to truly get to the heart of things that truly will make an impact. And therefore, ensuring that you're doing life cycle analysis, you're leveraging third-party certifications, doing scope 1, scope 2 emissions. CCT recently completed our scope 1 and 2 emissions. We are committed to now publicly declaring our goal on net zero reduction by the end of this year. So as you can see, we are trying to go beyond just solutions and trying to definitely make an impact and be the right partner for customers and stakeholders who are willing to commit to the journey on sustainability.
Well, very well put, sir. And I totally agree that, when we talk about sustainability, a lot of words do come up. But in actuality, you have to really navigate through those layers to reach the ground reality. I also want to point out that while every manufacturer per se is looking for a sustainable solution for their products, they are also not wanting to compromise on the cost of thermal performance or compliance per se. So how do you ensure that sustainable materials do not cause that to the shipper? And how does this align with the market trends that we're seeing in 2025?
Right. Great question. I think when we work in the life science industry, right, we have to be very conscious of the fact that the medication we are transporting eventually impacts a patient's life. right? So it is about patient safety. Hence, anything we do cannot compromise the potency or the efficacy of the drug. So yes, as we are looking to choose the right solutions that go into making up these sustainable offerings, we pay a lot of attention and run a lot of testing around these thermal insulations. And this is what I was referring to in the previous question. The way we choose insulations, we have a very set objective criteria and testing that ensures not only the mechanical performance, the sustainability aspects, but true thermal performance. If you look at the solutions that exist in the marketplace, they are reusable solutions, one. The reusable solutions today many of them use vacuum insulation panels that are not only mechanically strong, offer the benefit around reuse, but are thermally very, very solid. And therefore, one can completely rely on these solutions to provide the thermal assurance.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at curbside recyclable solutions, again, there are options like starch and wool and paper-based solutions. CCT has invested in paper-based solutions because we believe they have strong sustainability benefits. But again, we make sure they are appropriately packaged together with the right PCM solution to provide the necessary thermal assurance. So again, there's a lot of science that goes behind these products, and it is that fine balance around sustainability, weight, but also thermal assurance that we try and meet and offer to our customers.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. And I loved how you started by saying that it is actually the customer's life that matters at the end, and everyone should, work towards that goal. And that is actually what was a thought when CCUB was started, is what we've heard Satish sir say time and again. Saying that, CCUB brings together a diverse cold chain stakeholders who are using diverse services. It could be a small scale service or a large scale service. How are your solutions adapting to varying shipment scales from a single dose sample to a pallet level consignment?
So, Kavik, CCT primarily started off in the US, more than 50 years ago, in the passive thermal packaging space. We started off primarily as a parcel player, but slowly we understand that as drugs make their way all the way from, an API all the way to drug manufacturing, eventually to the patient, there needs to be a broad variety of solutions that are required to help with cold chain transportation. So over the years, with a slew of both organic and inorganic advances and initiatives, we now believe we have created the industry's most comprehensive portfolio of passive thermal packaging solutions. So we almost go out and claim that if you need any temperature, any size, any duration, and now pretty much any place in the world, CCT has the capabilities to offer you a solution that can help meet your need.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. More power to CCT, and we hope to see more innovations, especially considering that the company really takes into account sustainability, which is actually the need of the hour. I want to also ask about CCT's acquisition of Tower Cold Chain. It has been seemingly fortified. Considering your reusable pallet capabilities, what other partnerships or cross-industry initiatives have been most impactful for you, and where are you hoping to expand?
Sure. A lot of things to answer here. Obviously, the acquisition of Tower brought in a gap that we had in our portfolio, which was around reusable pallets. And Tower Cold Chain has a very, very solid product line. We're very proud that they're now part of the CCT family. Subsequent to that, is the acquisition that we made in the Asia-Pac region with Global Cold Chain Solutions. Asia-Pac is a region where CCT did not have a significant presence in, and therefore, with this acquisition, we now have strong capabilities locally, both within India and in Australia, as well as Singapore, and are able to claim many partnerships within the Asia-Pac region.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond those, I think we continue to look at exactly where science is going. We spoke earlier about what's driving market growth, like the areas of cell and gene therapy. We are partnering with a few, innovative organizations in the field of cell and gene therapy, trying to see how we can bring innovative technologies to the market that do not require cells to be cryo-frozen and then they go through a freeze-thaw process, that impacts, again, cell viability. So again, there are those partnerships that are currently underway, and we hope that some of those solutions will see the light of day pretty soon.
Yeah, we definitely will look forward to it, Mr. Chahal. This has brought us towards the end of our conversation, and I want to end this conversation by asking you, what are you most excited to discuss or collaborate on at CCUB 2025? And how do you see the event shaping the cold chain innovation and sustainability?
Sure. But first and foremost, Karvi, this is my first participation at CCUB. I love the name, right? Cold Chain Unbroken, I think signifies to me a few things, right? First and foremost, managing drug transportation all the way from manufacturer to a patient's hand requires multiple handoffs, right? No company can do that alone. And there are, because of the multiple handoffs, there are multiple opportunities where excursions can occur. So to me, the objective of creating a cold chain that cannot be broken reflects the need for collaboration and partnership, because no company can do it alone. And hence we are, again, very, very excited to be joining CCUB and participating in a lot of these forums and discussions. India is a large market, a very, very strong growing market. There are close to 3,000 pharmaceutical companies. The highest number of FDA registered facilities globally are in India. So India has that strong presence at the global stage. Its needs are also unique at many times, and therefore we want to make sure we are bringing in CCT's global capabilities, leveraging our local presence and expertise within India to identify unmet needs, challenges that exist in the Indian market, and collaborate with partners and stakeholders to come up with the right set of solutions and services.
Yeah. Well, after that, I would just like to say you made the quote right that everyone is looking at India, and the industry is definitely looking at CCUB 2025. It was a great chat with you, Mr. Chahal, and thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. It's been wonderful to understand how CCT is actually shaping the future of reliable and sustainable packaging solutions for the life science industries. We have touched on so much today, from a single-use sustainable packaging option to a reusable passive solution that ensures that temperature sensitive drugs and vaccines reach the patient safely, which, as you said, should be the goal of everyone in being a part of this cold chain. So thank you so much for sharing those insights, and we truly appreciate your time today. We are definitely looking forward to seeing you at CCUB 2025 this September at Novotel Hyderabad Airport. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you there.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to the event. Appreciate it.
Thank you.